Heidi ho, two-wheeled fam. It's producer Logan here for the inaugural episode of the Redline Flatline podcast. I'm here with the illustrious Papa Yam, and we're going to bring you some of the hardest-hitting, most nuanced, complex motorcycle conversation topics on the internet. So the first up on the docket today, we're going to do some community emails. We're going to do, of course, some lovely words from our sponsors. And then the big hard-hitting topic for today is something that's on every motorcyclist's mind. Where does the helmet go when you're not riding? I'm sure you've all been there. Do you leave it on the bike? Do you put it on a hook?
It's something I've been thinking about a lot. You know, it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I just really can't wait to get into it today and, get down to these hard-hitting topics about where the helmet goes. Because, Logan, I think a lot of people, they may have never seen a helmet before. But let's back this up a little bit. A helmet is a protective piece of equipment that a potential motorcycle person would wear as they were to. But they may not have to wear that. On a motorcycle,
depending on where you live.
There's a thing called Bike Talk, where on TikTok, which is a new application on cell phones, but let's not bury the lead here. Let's get started with our community email from Tyson. Tyson wrote into us, Logan, and
this is great. I saw that. I read.
He had a really good question on this one, and I can't wait to get into this question, Logan.
I think Tyler really hit the nail on the head with this question. I'm really excited to dig into it.
Trayvon wrote into us, and he asked, where do you put gas in a motorcycle?
Right. Yeah, I've been thinking
There's
this
so
too.
much to say.
There's so much to talk about. Taylor really brought up an interesting point that maybe people aren't considering when they're going to, and you know what they say, everyone's getting hit hard at the pump these days. Have you seen these gas prices?
Whoa. Hey, Logan, we don't want to get into economics or politics on this podcast. We don't want to alienate our audience. Okay?
Sure, right.
Saudi oil barons, if you're listening, we stand with you. We are united.
All right.
Motul, keep it coming, baby.
So let's get into this. Get into Trayvon's question.
Yeah, so Tyson asked us, how do you put gas in a motorcycle? Before you can even think about this question, I think it's super important that we spend a moment and talk about different gas caps, right? You have the classic flip cap. Most of us are familiar with that. Logan, I would say the flip cap is the one most riders.
But wait, hold on. Some don't have a flip cap. Some it's just a twist off, no keyed, unkeyed, which that leads a lot of questions too. What's stopping someone from putting something else in that gas tank if it's not keyed, right?
It's a crazy world out there. Some people are stealing gas and whipping ass, am I right?
Yeah,
and that's
crazy.
it's something you got to be careful of. On my dirt bike that I take out sometimes out here in the Pine Woods, I would have a twist cap, but I actually spent some time with my grandfather, and we installed a traditional flip cap on it to prevent theft of gasoline from my vehicle, because that actually happened one time when I was out there. I was trailering my mountain bike and my dirt bike to the off-road vehicle facilities that we have here in my location, and we actually were able to install a flip cap on there. And so, riders, I personally, it's just my opinion. I know some people, they may not want to hear it, but my opinion is that a flip cap probably is superior. And Logan, are there any other gas prevention mechanisms that you can think of? I think that's about all I can think of.
I mean, that's about all I can think of, but once you get the cap open, we haven't even gotten to the real hard-hitting part of this. Once the cap's open, how do you put the gas in, right? This is a risky situation. You see all the warnings on the pump, you got different octane levels, and then what happens if you overfill? It doesn't. Gas tanks on motorcycles are much smaller than cars. We got to remember that.
Tiffany wrote in a great question here, and it actually reminds me of an interview I had with Ewan McGregor, and it's just really great guy.
This is a great story. Remind me of the story.
Yeah, so just let me, if you could just let me, I can tell it.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
I can tell it. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can tell it. Okay, anyways,
go ahead.
So Ewan McGregor, as I was saying, he's just this amazing guy, and he actually was putting gas in his motorcycle on Long Way Round.
Right.
And for those of you who may not know, Long Way Round is a documentary that Ewan McGregor and friend Charlie Borman did a motorcycle trip around the world, and Ewan put gas in his motorcycle, little particle gasoline got into his eyeball. So there are some real perils out there when putting gasoline. So you have to mind your distance from the gas and make sure that you have some space from that too.
That's crazy.
But Logan, we got to take a moment and talk a quick, brief second about the sponsor of today's video. You know, we're fond of whiteboards here on Yami Noob. I've been known to attend a few tiki torch parties and wild out with my fellow bussin' no-cap boys, am I right? That's why we've teamed up with the best of the best in the whiteboard business, Office Depot. Whether you've got a tight script you need to hand write while you huff the fumes from the markers, or you just want to doodle your own schematics of motorcycle engines, Office Depot has the supplies you need. Whether you're a slimy little Janus boy or a big, hairy, beautiful man-child Harley enjoyer, or hey, anything in between, Office Depot can help you with anything. This channel is more than just a place where you can get content. It's a place you can consume content, drink content, and ultimately become content. It's also a mouthpiece for Office Depot. They've been longtime supporters of Yami Noob, so the next time you need anything for your office, you know who to call. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, that gave me goosebumps. Like the synergy between brands and content creators, you know, it makes so many things possible around here. If it wasn't for Office Depot, we could not bring this hard-hitting podcast to you guys at home.
That's very true, Logan. That's very true. Well, why don't we get the Band-Aid off here and let's talk about the real nuts and bolts of this podcast, and that is, where does the helmet go when you're not using it? So, Logan, I've been riding a long time. I've got no less than 19 different helmets. Right. And, you know, sometimes I walk in my front door, my wife gets so mad at me. I'm tripping over helmets. My dog is wearing a helmet. It's just absolute bedlam at my home here with all the helmets. How do you feel about this topic?
I mean, it's the number one thing on my mind when I'm riding. You know, I've got my helmet on. I'm thinking, when I get to my destination, where is this helmet going to go? I get filled with fear and anxiety not knowing where the helmet's going to go. And I can't help but think a lot of riders at home are probably having the same thought. So, you know, it's something that I've thought about ad nauseum pretty much every time I swing a leg over a motorcycle, is thinking about where is that helmet going to go?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the classic helmet hook, right? But honestly, you know, I've used a helmet hook in the past. I will admit to it. Okay, I know it's not the preferred choice. You know, you sink in a drywall anchor, and that's gypsum, right? That's not sturdy. You want to sink in a 3/8 on that, and then tap in the drywall anchor.
Right.
And some people say, hey, that's as boring as paint dry, but you know, this podcast can't be more boring than that, right? So you tap in the drywall anchor.
But wait, I gotta stop you there, Yam. Stud finder. You look for the stud, right? You look for the stud. You drill the hole into that. That's going to provide a lot more stability than your average drywall anchor, right?
I mean, I don't use a stud finder personally. And I don't know why anybody would.
Sure, right.
So it just, I wanted to put that out there.
You know, I've been riding for a long time too. I've also got many helmets. I happen to, you know, work for a company that provides me with as many free helmets as I want if I talk about them all the time online. And so I've got a ton of helmets too. And when I'm hanging helmets...
That's really relatable.
When I'm hanging helmets, I always use the stud finder. I get the stud finder out of the toolbox. I get the drill. I get also the impact driver. It's good to have two different tools, you know, so you're not switching bits between a drill bit and a Phillips head, or maybe a Torx if you're getting like really like low, high security, low risk hardware for your helmet hook. And that's just kind of in terms of hooks, that's the superior way to do it, I think, personally. You know, I don't mean any offense by that, but that's how I like to do it. But beyond hooks, you know, a cubby, sometimes you can have cubbies at home. Also, you're going to want either studs or maybe drywall anchors if you're feeling particularly lazy about it.
You know, one of our members actually sent us in a photo, and you're not going to believe this. It was a coat hanger, multi hook coat hanger.
Yeah.
All helmets on that bad boy.
Yeah,
I saw
that.
People are getting inventive out there with the helmet holding. I've even seen, and some people say it's bad luck. Just put it right on the ground. You know, just leave it.
I have heard it bad
set
luck.
It down, put it right there on the ground.
It to be bad luck. Yes.
No issues about it.
Except, actually, you know, I'm going to stop you right there, and I don't mean any offense for this, but I'm not a big superstitious guy. I don't have a lot of superstitions. I don't have a lot of pre-ride, post-ride rituals. And when it comes to my helmet, you know, I'm more about rider training, focus. I'm not about superstition, fairy dust, lucky rabbit's foot. Helmet on the ground, you know, it's fine. Drop it on the ground. People say that's bad to drop your helmet on. You know, I've done worse. I've seen worse, right? We've all been there.
We've all been there. That is such a fair point, and that makes a lot of sense. Other places you could put it would be on a desk. I would recommend a sturdy mahogany wooden desk. If
standing desk, they say standing desks are the best.
If you cut me off one more time, Logan, I will have to end this podcast. I'm just going to. I received word from our producers that I'm gonna have to. Okay, we're good. Never mind. Okay, actually, you can stay on the air. Sorry about that. Anyways, mahogany desks, great. Folding desks, precarious. That is a precarious situation to be in. Imagine putting your helmet on a folding desk and the legs just collapse. Your helmet goes down, scuffs up your brand new awry. That's just unconscionable.
But I think what people really want to know is when you're going to a destination, right? Say you're going to bike night. Do you carry the helmet around with you? Do you hang the helmet on your handlebar? That's a pretty risky move. You hang it on the handlebar, someone knocks into it, it falls on the ground, and then you gotta get in a fist fight with someone at bike night. No one wants to do that. So when you get to the destination, where are you putting your helmet?
I think the pro move there, and this is my personal take here. You don't have to do what I'm saying here, but I think the pro move here is a key ring. You latch it under the D ring, helmet swings around on your belt. That is a secure stitch on your riding pants. Because, Logan, if you're wearing riding jeans that you can purchase right here on this website that you're watching right now, not just content, we also are a website that sells things for riders all over the world.
Just to be transparent.
We have to be transparent that is
Global
what we
brands,
do here.
Yeah.
Global brand, and you're using triple CE level 3 cross stitching on that belt loop, and so getting your helmet to hook onto that, it's not going anywhere, and that's always on your person too.
Yeah.
I just mentioned I'm big into gasoline theft, and I always want to make sure I don't have motorcycle or helmet theft too. Imagine you park up your bike, you leave the helmet on top of the bike or hooked onto the mirror, and somebody comes out and just snatches your disgusting helmet off of your bike. You can't ride home. What are you going to do? You got to take an Uber back home. You're going to ride back home, and there's just nothing. There's nothing anyone could do in a situation like that.
You see, something that's really interesting too. Something you maybe have not aren't considering in this moment. It's something that's really interesting that I think about when it comes to motorcycles. Certain bikes. I've ridden a ton of motorcycles, right? I've been riding for like 25 years. Something you may not have thought about this, but it's really interesting. Some bikes. Have you seen this? Have you seen the bikes that come underneath the seat? There's like a kind of tab that you can latch your helmet onto, a locking mechanism to keep your. It's pretty. Have you heard? It's pretty interesting. Have you heard about that locking kind of tab for the helmet?
I have seen that. I have seen that a few times. Yes. But maybe you could let us know. For those of us in the audience who have not heard about that, maybe Logan, you can tell us about that.
So yeah, So there's a seat on the motorcycle, right? Most motorcycles come with at least one seat. Sometimes have two seats, a passenger pillion, as they say in the industry. Beneath that seat, a lot of times you find some nice, a little storage compartment, a little toolkit. Oftentimes your battery, your ECU, things like that are beneath the seat. All motorcycles come with seats like that. You sit on the seat. When it's different than riding a car, where in the seat with the seatbelt and a steering wheel. When you're riding a motorcycle, you're on the saddle. It's between your legs, hands out on the handlebars. And a lot of times the seat's locked. We're talking about safety. We're talking about gasoline theft. You got to also think about seat theft. It happens all the time. We've been seeing it for years. It was a big problem in the early days of riding in the 70s and 80s. Now, seats are keyed. Most require a key to remove the seat. So when you remove that seat, you set aside the tool bag. Check your. I'm big on maintenance, right? You want to maintain your bike. So when you got the seat off, you look at the battery, make sure your terminals are clean, and make sure everything's connected properly. No frayed wires, no no accidental grounds. And then a lot of these bikes, it's really interesting. They'll have it's like a tab or a lash. Additionally, to the battery and the toolkit and the manual, things like that. In this tab, this latch, you connect your helmet to the D-rings, and you can lock that. So essentially, it's really interesting. Instead of having to, have the carabiner helmet on your CE triple rated garment jeans, riding jeans, you can hang beneath this tab that's under the seat. You can hang the helmet on that and lock it, and it'll stay connected to your bike. So you don't have to carry around with you when you're at bike night or the coffee shop or the grocery store or whatever. And this is really interesting. A lot of manufacturers.
Have you seen those guys who they It's like a new thing, I guess. They put the flat bill hat in the back of the seat. And where somebody would actually, it's a grab handle. It's that's not what that's for. But they did just slide the hat in there.
It's so funny. These young kids and what they're doing is so funny.
That's
I have a lot of hats from the different brands we work with.
Totally.
The synergy of brands, the way they allow us to make the content that we make.
We literally could not do it without the brands.
Yeah, so I got a lot of cool free hats from these brands. I'm not being paid to say that. I love these hats. And
no, he's not. Yeah, no. I mean, it's a small. Like they just throw pennies at us at the office so we can keep making this content. I mean, the budget is so small here. There's really not much we're able to do. But it's such a massive company that we work for, and they come by every week and they just kind of just like shake some coins and quarters at us and they say, do what you can and you make the best videos you can. That's good for you. And we have to pick them up and scurry and just grab them, shove them in our pockets because they'll come back. Actually, Logan, they actually do that here.
Yes,
they come back. And if you didn't collect all of them, they'll just say, okay, that's extra budget for us. And then so we have to shill for these brands. There's nothing. If we don't, we can't make these videos for you guys.
It's really interesting that you say that. And
it's
that
brings
me back to Taylor's question at the top about where you put the gas. You know, when you collect all those
Tiffany's
coins
question.
when you get all those coins from our sponsor, you know, that's what we're paying. The gas we put in our bikes, right? The sponsors are paying for that. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to even ride the bikes that we talk about here on the channel. So it's really, it's kind of serendipitous the way this is all connected.
And with that, it's time for the engine sound guessing game. Producer Josh has put together a pretty sweet little engine sound guessing game for us here. Logan, this one, he's always up to something.
He's always up to something. I love this. Let me tell you, it's interesting. When we do this segment, I have a blast every time. It's so, guessing these engines, it's one of my favorite things we do on this podcast here. So I'm excited for it.
I just want to say we have not heard this sound before. That's the way this works, and we're gonna hear it a few times and see if we can guess what it is. So let's take a quick listen at the first engine sound of the guessing game today. Logan, it sounds air cooled to me.
Definitely air cooled, kind of almost utilitarian in its nature.
It's a little throaty.
A little throaty for sure.
Yeah.
Is that stock? Is that a stock exhaust? Or is Josh pulling a fast one on us, doing an engine with an aftermarket exhaust
I don't
system?
know. He's always up to something. That sly little fox. But no, this one sounds throaty. It sounds like there's a lot of volume being moved through that engine. So I'm thinking
bigger displacement. For sure.
I think bigger displacement for sure. Air cooled. Little agricultural, maybe something a little older, know, maybe something. I don't know, but Italian maybe.
Oh, we're on the right track. Why don't you play it again and we'll see if we can really lock this in.
Let's take a closer listen. Oh man, that. Sometimes you hear it more, and more questions start to arise. Right. That's a tough one. I do think that Italian twin. It's sounding like an Italian twin.
2 valve, something like that. Yeah,
I think it's something along those lines. It's got this quality about it. It sounds like it's got a lighter flywheel, maybe.
Right.
It's revving up a little faster than I would imagine.
Right.
But it's like I can't get away from that throatiness. It's just so big and bellowy. Oh,
it gets me going, right?
You got any guesses? I mean, this is. What's coming to mind?
I'm thinking it's something Italian for sure, something throaty, air cooled for sure.
You think maybe Guzzi?
Maybe Guzzi. I mean, you and I both know Ewan McGregor pretty well. He's big on the Guzzis,
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
I had lunch with him the other day.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it one more time, and I think we got a clue from producer Josh. Oh, it's not a Guzzi. It's a Ducati.
Oh, Ducati, eh?
It's Ducati. It's got to be an older model.
Yeah, something back
catalog. Got to be an older model.
Yeah.
Let's take a listen here again one more time.
Maybe is it maybe like an old Super Sport or something? You know, trellis frame. You know, that kind of like 70s era.
I think it's something like that. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think my guess is as good as yours. Let's see what producer Josh has to say here. It is a 1973 Ducati Superleggera Sport 843.
Wow.
Knew it.
Knew it.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, when I heard that throatiness, you know, that kind of old world quality, I knew it had to be something Italian. For sure.
I just knew it had to be something like that. So, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to today's inaugural episode of the Redline Flatline podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback, leave us a review on iTunes and submit a review to your Apple Podcast, your local newspaper as well. That goes a really long way. If you can write in a letter to your local newspaper and let them know that you listen to this podcast, we will send you a free T-shirt if you do that. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking it out. And signing off for today. Man, Logan, they can still see you. Logan, they can still see you.
Sorry, I didn't know it was going still.
God.